Hi again. In this video, I'll show you how to do a very simple frequency analysis using SPSS. Remember, in the previous video, I've shown you how to access SPSS through VSEC and how to load up an Excel file called Digital Literacy for Elderly, which is our main data set for this tutorial. And we have saved it as a demo. .sav file called demo, something with the word demo as a suffix demo, right? So we're going to access that file again to show how we can do frequency analysis. So here I'm already back clicking the main link to the VSEC. I'm entering my net. I've entered my net ID and password. Sign in. I'm going to my file where I store the .sav file in my P drive, which is here. This is the file called demo that I've just created in the previous video. I just click on it. So here it is. It has been opened. Yep, it is exactly as what I did earlier. The descriptions, the variable name, everything is perfect, right? So ready to go. So how do I do frequency analysis? Go to Analyze. This is the main button. You will do a lot in here using Analyze. Because frequency analysis is still a part of descriptive analysis, because you're just describing the data, you want to get some frequency. How often a particular variables appear, whether people, how many times people join literacy skills, inspirational talks, play mahjong. These are all the frequency, how frequent they are doing all these things, the respondents in terms of what you are asking, right? So you only want to know what are the frequencies. So open it a little bit so you can see your variables clearly, right? I like to make it a little bit bigger so it's easy to understand. See, what is shown here is the label of the variables rather than just the name of the variable, because just the name sometimes is not clear enough. So I will exclude the participant ID. So I click here, click Shift. One more time, click the first one, press Shift button, click to the bottom one, so you have range everything. Click the right button, move it there to the variables. Leave the participant ID, because participant ID here has no meaning. These are just number. It has no particular meaning, right? It's just a number to each respondent. Then you can click what you want to see. Maybe you want to see the mean, the median, the mode, what they are. Look at the PowerPoint slides of the lecture 6. I've defined and described to you what is the meaning of mean value, median value, mode value. Mean means the average value of a particular variable for all of the respondents. Mean means the middle value for particular variables for all respondents, right? Mode means the most frequently appearing value or score. You can also have standard deviation, variance, minimum or maximum value, up to you. You can also click skewness and curtices if you want. So I don't want to click too many. I just click one, median, and mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, minimum, maximum. Continue. Chart. Let's say I want to do to see whether the data, let's say for each variable, whether they follow the normal distributions. Remember, we want our data to be as close as possible to normal. When the data is totally not normal distribution, that is indication of some problems with the data. But maybe it's not possible to have a perfectly well normally distributed data. But at least if your data is not too way out of normal distribution, then it should be fine. So I can click this, right? Actually, we have a separate section, a separate video later on assessing whether your data set is normally distributed or not. Don't worry. So just click continue. Format, don't do anything. Style, don't do anything about it. Bootstrap is not related. Now, you can click OK button. If you click OK button, you immediately see the output. But what I want to show you here is a paste button. With the paste, it gives you the syntax. And with the syntax, you can play around with the syntax to produce output. Why do you use paste and the syntax? Because you don't want to keep on repeating moving the variables and clicking. Sometimes when you do, which is very common when you do analysis like this, you may have to do it like 5 times, 10 times, 20 times just to redo it and redo it until you get it to the perfection. But if you use a paste function like this, you can do the analysis easier. So if you do a paste analysis, it will give you this screen. What is this saying you is in this syntax editor, it gives you the syntax. So this is the data set. These are the variables from digital training to Mahjong. These are the instructions that you give SPSS to perform. So inside each of these is algorithms. It's a programming language that the software developer in SPSS has developed, how to calculate standard deviation, variance, etc. And how to do this manually, I've shown them in my PowerPoint on lecture 6. So all of this can be done manually. But why do you use software? It's because it's faster, you don't need to worry so much, and you also reduce the chances of making error, making mistakes. So with this, you just left click, just range it, click this run button, run selection button, just click it. Yep. So that's the output that we get. So this is the output that you're going to see. Okay, you can see the median and the mean, for example. This is called the digital training. The number of times a respondent joined the digital literacy. See, the mean is 4.04, which means that on average people have joined 4 times. But what is the minimum? Here, minimum 2 times. That means some of the respondents have only joined 2 times, but the majority is around 4. But what could be the maximum? 6 times. Some people join 6 times, right? What is the standard deviation? You can look at the lecture 6 PowerPoint presentation for the lecture that shows how to calculate standard deviation. What is the meaning of standard deviation? Standard deviation variance actually has very similar meaning. It's about how far is the variation of your data from the mean value, from the average value. So if you know the average value of people joining digital literacy training is 4, and you got a standard deviation of 1, that means you have some people who are more than 4, could be 5 or 6, and some people who are only 3 or 2. So you want to see in a kind of like in a standard value, instead of precise number, but in a standard value that is easy to compare across variables. You may have 10 variables, 20 variables in your survey. So with that standard deviation, it gives you a standard unit. It's like centimeter is a standard unit, meter is a standard unit. So standard deviation is also a standard unit of how far is your data above a mean value or below a mean value. Right? So you can see for each variables you have all this. You can also look at the frequency table, like for example, the number of times a respondent joined the digital literacy program, from 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. Which frequency means there are 2 persons who joined the digital training 2 times. There are 5 persons who joined the digital literacy 3 times. There is only 1 person who joined the digital literacy 6 times. And these are the percentage values. If you have this, you can calculate this as, if you add this up as 100, you can find the relative weight, right? 2 divided by 25, you get 8%, 5 divided by 25, 20%, etc., etc. And then you can calculate the valid percentage and cumulative percentage. Cumulative percentage is this plus this is this. Up to here, 28 plus 36 becomes 64. So this is how they calculate it, right? Have access to digital tools or no access, which means that there are 10 people who have no access to digital tools, and 15 people or 15 respondents have no digital access, which means that 10 out of 25 is 40%, 15 divided by 25 is 60%, etc., etc. So this is the kind of values you're going to get. So this is a histogram. What is a histogram? It's the same numbers as previous one, but you plot them in terms of a bar graph, a bar chart. So this number of respondents joined the digital literacy and the frequency that they join. So you can see here that there are 2 persons who joined the digital literacy 2 times. There are how many? There are about 5 people who have joined the digital literacy for 3 times, and there are about 9 number of respondents here. So there are 2 person who have joined the digital literacy 2 times, 3 person who have joined the digital literacy training for 5 times. There are 4 person who have joined the digital literacy for about 9 times. 5% have joined it for about 8 times. So this is the line to check whether your data is normally distributed or not. So don't worry about this too much for this moment, but I've checked all the data is roughly fine. It's relatively not too far away from this black line, the normal distribution line. So this is how you quickly check your frequency analysis, and using a paste function, syntax function, to understand the result of your frequency analysis. I hope that's useful. That's the end of this video on how to do a frequency analysis and using syntax to run. If you don't use syntax, you can also do it directly like this. Analyze, descriptive, frequencies, you have all this here, you just click OK. It's the same. Yep, so it runs again. So from here, it give you all the same results. So you can also see this is the previous one, and the most recent one that we have just done started from here. Yeah, this is without the syntax. This going onwards are the one without the syntax. So it should be the same. But the purpose of syntax is just for us to manage. So if I show you the syntax again, what's the syntax? Okay, let's say I only want to do a mean analysis. So I can delete this. Oops. Undo. So I only want mean. Yep. Oops. Yep. Oops. Haha. Tricky. Okay, I only want mean, median, and mode. Then run it again. See, I only get mean, median, and mode for all of the variables. Yeah, I don't get other variables, but only mean, median, and mode. So depending on what your purpose is, let's say I only want to do a mean. I'm only interested in the average value. I'm not interested in anything else. I don't want histogram. Get rid of the histogram. Right? And I don't want all variables. I only want the intervention, which is digital training and inspirational talk, and digital skills, and mahjong. Yeah. Redo it, run. See, I only get mean value because I specify I only want to analyze the mean value, and I have reduced the analysis only to focus on these 4 variables: digital literacy, inspirational talk, the digital skills, and the mahjong. So it really depends on your purpose. So using syntax is very powerful, allow you to do the different kind of analysis very quickly without going back and click one by one. Going click by click is called the GUI approach, graphical user interface approach, GUI approach. And the syntax is a slightly different approach. It allows you to change the variables in your analysis very quickly. So this is the end of doing the frequency analysis and using the paste and syntax. Bye-bye.